Hey guys, come on downstairs. We're going to preview our Southern Utah at Ohio game, Year 1, Game 9. But first of all, we've got some recruits that are ready to commit and announce their commitments. Todd Glover, 3-star receiver, 6'2", 196, from Heber City, Utah, up in the mountains above Provo. 74 overall, 67 spark rating from the Wasatch Wasps. And he has offers from only Southern Utah and Utah State, and he's ready to choose between the two. Will he take his talent south to Cedar City, or will he head up north to Logan? And Todd Glover is going to go to Cedar City. Our first commit comes from a receiver from the state of Utah, 74 overall, a very good get. Very excited to have Todd Glover aboard. Gary Williams, a 6'2", 326-pound center, junior college, New Mexico Highlands, 64 overall, 40 spark rating from Eunice, New Mexico. He is just a 1-star center, but a big body. He has 3 offers from Southern Utah, New Mexico State, and Rice. So will he head to Cedar City, take his talents to Las Cruces, or to Houston, Texas? And Gary Williams chooses the Southern Utah Thunderbirds. So our second commitment comes from a JUCO center from New Mexico. All right, guys, John Kearney, 6'3", 206-pound athlete from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's 3 stars, 71 overall, a spark rating of 59 from McCarthy High School. This is a guy we coveted. We recruited him to probably be a quarterback. He has several offers from Southern Utah, Central Florida, UTEP, and Florida International. Is he going to come to Cedar City, go to Orlando, to the West Texas deserts, or stay home and go to Florida International? And John Kearney is going to come to Cedar City to play for the Southern Utah Thunderbirds. And this could be our quarterback of the future. He's going to be thrown right into the mix next year with Aaron Cantu and Mitch Dalen for the starting job if, indeed, we opt to put him at the quarterback position. We're going to preview the Ohio game now. The Ohio Bobcats are 2-5, 1-3 in the Mid-America Conference. Southern Utah comes in at 1-7, coming off of our first win of the season. Ohio, number 105 in points per game, 103 in total offense, 101 in rushing offense, 78th in passing offense. Their total defense is fairly good. Number 45 there. Number 2 in the country in run defense, and number 112 against the pass. So we might be able to sling the rock around a little bit in this game. Sometimes that can be skewed depending on whether the teams you play really try to run the ball or not. But the Ohio Bobcats, number 2 in rushing defense, they are 2-7 all-time in bowl games. Their last conference championship came back in 1968. We are 1-7 coming off of our first FBS win. And the Ohio schedule, they lost to Louisville. They beat an FCS team, and then losses at Maryland, at Akron, against Central Michigan, and at Eastern Michigan. A 4-game losing streak was broken last week when they faced Miami University at home. Our schedule, we dropped the first 7 games of the season at New Mexico State, North Texas, and San Jose, at Troy, New Mexico at home. Then a brutal stretch at Auburn and at number 4 Houston before coming home to earn our first victory over Old Dominion. And now we face Ohio, Hawaii, and South Alabama before playing BYU. All of those possibly could be winnable games. The starting quarterback for the Ohio Bobcats, Greg Windham Jr., 956 yards on the season, 9 touchdowns, 5 picks. Last game, he was 12 of 26, 102 yards before being carted off with an injury, and he will not start this game as he will be on the sidelines. Rushing, A.J. Owlett, 550 yards on the ground this year, 78.6 per game. Our leading passer, Aaron Cantu, 102 of 168, 731 yards, 4 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Rayshawn Martin, 439 yards on the ground, only averaging 54.9 a game. Last week, he flirted with the century mark, though. 97 yards on 18 carries and a touchdown. Fa'atu Ma'ola had 83 yards receiving last week. 309 yards on the year. Killebrew, our leading tackler. Redmond, with 2 interceptions last week, is now our leader in interceptions. And the starting quarterback for Ohio will be Quentin Maxwell, a redshirt freshman. Last week he came in, went 14 of 36, 261 yards, no touchdowns, threw a couple of picks. Completion percentage 38.9 is not great. And he's been sacked 3 times on the year. So we'll probably try to get some pressure on Maxwell. Aulette, the running back, is an 80 overall, speed 92. His backup is Poppy White, who has a speed rating of 93. He also returns kicks and punts. Sebastian Smith, their best receiver. Overall, he's a 79 and 84 speed. And Sebastian Smith, 459 yards receiving, 13.9 yards per reception. Has 4 touchdowns on the year, 65.6 yards per game. And 5 drops on the year. He's a senior. On the defensive side, Terrell Basham, a senior, left defensive end, 20 tackles on the year. Quentin Poling, their best linebacker, with 22 tackles, 1.5 sacks, and 2 pass breakups. He is a redshirt junior. Watch for him in the middle, number 32. Strong safety, Teron Davis, 9 tackles, 1 interception, and that went back for a touchdown, and 2 pass breakups on the year for him. Quick look at the top 25. Florida State and Oklahoma, the top 2 teams in the country. These are the BCS rankings. The Miami Hurricanes, 7-0, are number 3. Houston at 7-0 is number 4. Oklahoma playing an FCS team this week. Miami is at number 1, Florida State. Houston, coming off a 41-13 win over Rutgers, will be playing South Florida at home. Tennessee, 6-1, is at Missouri. They beat Alabama 29-27 last week. Ohio State is number 6, coming off a 48-14 win over 15th-ranked Penn State. And they are at Purdue. UCLA drubbed Oregon 45-6. They play Colorado this week. Clemson at 7-1, 27-26 win over Maryland, and they are at Virginia. LSU 7-1 with a 56-14 win over an FCS team. Texas 5-1 on the year, beat TCU. They play Kansas this week. Auburn 6-1. They were off last week, and they will play at Fayetteville, Arkansas this week. Northwestern 7-1. They are ranked number 12. They beat number 21 Iowa last week, and they will be in Lincoln to take on Nebraska this week. Michigan 5-2. They didn't play last week. They will be in East Lansing to take on Michigan State. Louisville 7-1. Beat South Florida in Tampa 38-28. Penn State lost to Ohio State. They will play Illinois. North Carolina is number 16. They will be at North Carolina State in Raleigh. UW beat Cal 34-17. They don't play this week. Baylor with a win at Kansas. They also don't play. Iowa ranked number 19. They're 5-3. They lost to Northwestern, and they will be at home in Iowa City to play Wisconsin. Number 20, the University of Utah, lost in Los Angeles at USC, and they are off this week. Number 21, Texas Tech, lost to OU, and they will play Oklahoma State this week. Georgia plays Florida. Boise State cracks the top 25 with a 34-31 win at BYU. They will be at Colorado State in Fort Collins. Texas A&M is number 24. And number 25 is Iowa State with a win at Oklahoma State. They break into the top 25. The Heisman Watch, Baker Mayfield, the OU quarterback. Senior running back Dalvin Cook from the Florida State Seminoles. Leonard Fournette from LSU. Lamar Jackson from Louisville. And kind of a dark horse, Clayton Thorson, sophomore quarterback from Northwestern, is in the mix. And we will be on the road in Athens, Ohio. They are rated number 94 in the toughest places to play. We have been dead last in toughest places to play. Let's see if the win last week moved us out of last place in the country. And it has moved us up one spot from 126 to 125th. We are now ahead of only UMass as the easiest place to play in college football. All right, coming up next, the Ohio Bobcats from Athens, Ohio. And the forecast for this one is heavy snow. We'll see what happens in Athens for Southern Utah at the Ohio Bobcats.